All right, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar with Jamie Garcia from Maker Maven. We are so excited to have her as a friend and partner, a book creator, and she's going to share some wonderful information today about doing summer STEM content and connecting it to literacy, which we love. We love connecting anything to storytelling here at Book Creator, and so she's going to share all the goodness. Jamie is the founder of both Maker Maven, who she's here representing today, as well as Literacy for Texas. So this is obviously her two passions intertwined today, literacy and STEM. So we're really excited to hear from her. And then at the end of today, I will be sharing some summer resources that we have. So we're really glad you're here, and I will pass it to Jamie.
Thank you, Katie, so much, and to the Book Creator team for having me out today. And super excited to share some summer STEM resources with you. As Katie mentioned, my background initially was in literacy and library, classroom libraries. And we launched Maker Maven to meet the need for STEM solutions, makerspace solutions. And a lot of those were with some of our library and our literacy customers. So we launched, again, Maker Maven for educators, and we are always trying to include that literacy component because literacy is at the heart of education. So today I want to share a couple of fun ways that you can tie STEM products into some of your books. Oh, excuse me. And we're going to go through a couple of things. I'm going to highlight what I call the maker trifecta, and that is bringing in some digital, some tech, and some literacy resources for your students, just to provide that multimodal opportunity for students to really get that stickiness, Katie, that we're looking for learning here. So if you would like to scan for any of the slides, they are here. Katie is going to drop the bit.ly into the chat. We will also be following up with each of you via email so that you will have all of these resources plus more from Book Creator as well. So again, my name is Jamie Garcia. I am the founder and CEO of Maker Maven. You can find tons of resources and free content on our website. It's makermaven.net, and that'll be dropped into the chat as well. So today we'll look at some simple and easy ways to combine STEM and literacy with some fun tools from the STEM world and some great text from the literacy world. We'll look at some creative project ideas specifically tied to summer because we have a lot of learning that we can do during our off time during the summer. And then we'll give you some good tools and resources to be able to turn over to your students, specifically a Book Creator STEM reflection journal and a literacy log so that your students can research and reflect on their STEM and literacy components during the summer. So why do we need STEM connected to literacy? We need literacy connected across all of our core contents and our subjects. It is the foundation of learning. We want to help make real world connections during the summer. It's the perfect time when students are out of school. They're interacting more with our communities, and we want them to be good citizens, and we want them to be literate citizens. When we combine things with the STEM tools, we have that very high interest connection with our students, that sticky connection. We can promote critical thinking. And then again, we can tie that back to real world opportunities, career pathways, connections, and community connections as well. We also want to foster that storytelling and just that creative nature of kids and that just kind of inspiration and that feeling that students get when they're out for the summer. We also know how important it is to make sure that we're keeping our students learning during the summer. Even though it's not going to be sitting in a classroom, we still need to have them engaged. We have that summer slide. We know that students are losing learning over the summer. So how can we put things in their hands physically, digitally, again, in that multimodal way so that we are keeping them engaged, we're keeping them active, and we're keeping them tied to our standards and, again, those initiatives that we're teaching them during the school year. And most of all, we want to keep kids curious, right? Curious kids are creative kids, and creative kids are great learners. So we want to keep those connections going. So I told you I would introduce you to the Maker Trifecta. It's super simple. It's just a quick reminder to you as the educator to grab those multimodal resources, including Book Creator and some STEM items, and of course that literacy item when you are creating lesson plans, when you're setting up stations, when you're looking at summer literacy or STEM programs. So basically what that means is to make sure that you're always including a print resource, a digital resource, whether that be an online database, something like a book creator, an ed tech tool, and then bringing in your STEM or your STEAM activity. So you want that tactile learning, you want that visual learning, you want, again, all those modalities that we can bring to students to ensure that we're captivating them where they want to learn. I'll show you a few examples and then remind you of this a little bit later too. So for fun and cool summer projects, I want to start, and I'm actually going to work the Maker Trifecta backwards in this webinar. We're going to start with the STEM item. So if you already have STEM items and you just don't know, what do I do with these? They've been hanging out in my closet forever. Maker Maven has tons of STEM resources, lesson plans, activities, and then our partners like 3Doodler here also have great activities that we can tie into specific content, into scope and sequence, and then into summer learning like this. So if you are not familiar with the 3Doodler, it is a 3D pen. It is a great introduction for 3D printing. It's low cost. These are about $49 a piece. It's very approachable. If you're not familiar with a 3D pen, it acts essentially like a hot glue gun. You turn it on, you put the filament in the top, it gets heated in the middle, and then it protrudes down at the bottom, just like a hot glue gun. And then from there, students can build 3D objects with that. So that's where you get your 3D printing. We've got a lot of space activity going on right now. We've got a lot of SpaceX launches. We've got a lot of real-time data that we're able to get through NASA and NOAA through products like Merge. And so, you know, we've got a lot of eyes on the sky right now. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. This is a cute little rocket doodle. And these all come with stencils. I have them highlighted and linked here. You'll get all of these resources afterwards. But these all come with a lot of resources, again, that you can get in here. And yes, I see somebody said, perfect for National Space Day. Thank you. If you'll let us know exactly when that date is, then we will be sure to get this out for, oh, today. Okay, well, perfect for National Space Day today. Thank you. Whoops, where are we going here? All right, so more from 3Doodler. Everyone kind of has that free flow during the summer. We're looking at festivals. We're looking at being outdoors. My 3-year-old daughter is obsessed with picking daisies right now. So, you know, we've got a lot of flower activity going on in our house. So this is just getting you kind of back to the summer vibes. You can really create any type of glasses that you would like. This is where you can give your students really that individuality, that independence, that creative nature to say, hey, friend, you know, think of something that you like doing this summer and let's design a wearable for you to take there, or let's design something to assist another person or assist our community here. So again, there's stencils that you can use here if you do have 3Doodlers or a 3D pen in your classroom or at home right now. My favorite, and I'm going to take this and again do it with my 3-year-old. I'll probably have to do most of the stencil making, but just very, very cute and simple cookie stencils. So this is a great way to make your own cookie stamps, or any really, like if you have Play-Doh. I know that, again, my daughter has a Play-Doh set with cookie stamps in it. So you can really use a lot of different materials. You can create your own stencils. Taking it back to like the design thinking process, you could have students design their own stencil. You could have them print it to scale and then actually use the 3D printer to go over that and create their own 3D image. So very cute and perfect for anybody that's looking to make cookies this summer. So now let's tie in our literacy components. So I'm a big fan of pairing fiction and nonfiction where we can. I think, again, it just gives those students a depth of reading across a lot of different genres, a lot of different Deweys as well. These are 3 great books from Capstone. You'll hear me mention them a couple of times today, but starting at the top left, you have what we would consider a procedural text, right? It has instructions, it has your materials. This one so happens to be 3D pens for beginners. So again, a perfect book to pair with that 3D pen. We've got a 3D printing mission by Shannon McClintock Miller. That's going to be your graphic novel. We all know that graphic novels are going to be that high interest way to get students into reading. And this one happens to be all about students that have to solve mysteries through STEM and through 3D making and through coding and robotics. So it's fun right there. And these mysterious makers of Shaker Street, I call them my little Angela Lansbury kids, because anytime they go on a field trip, something happens and they have to solve it by creating and doing some sort of like project-based learning or STEM design. Again, super cute. And then, yes, please let us know if you are doing any fiction and nonfiction pairs here as well. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys, keeps going back to that one slide. All right, so we have Makey Makey. If you are not familiar with a Makey Makey, this is a quick microcontroller. It has alligator clips and it brings really anything to life via computer or turns anything into a computer. Again, my background was the literacy and I kind of jumped headfirst into STEM. And this was the product that sat on my shelf for a very long time. And I looked at it and I was like, not today. I just don't have the mental capacity. I don't have the time. And our tagline is unbox and start making, because when I unboxed the Makey Makey and I opened it, there were 6 steps. I was done in about 5 minutes and I felt successful. And that fear, that overcoming that fear. So this is the one that I tell everybody, like, this is what got me into STEM. This is what got me into coding. This is what got me into encouraging everyone that you really just have to unbox and take that first step, right? So Makey Makeys are a wonderful tool. They might look a little intimidating, but they're definitely a great place to start, either in your library, your makerspace, or your classroom. So let me show you what we can do with Makey Makey. We're introducing students to circuits, electricity, and exploration. We're teaching them to be inventors and creators. So this is great for any camps. They have classroom sets. It's great for just an individual one-on-one build as well. And here they're going to be exploring circuits and then testing here in like a camp type setting here. So with this Makey Makey challenge, this is encouraging and meeting students that are a little bit more musically inclined or would just like to tinker around a little bit with their coding. But this is the classic Makey Makey example, and that's making a piano out of bananas. So if you've never seen the Makey Makey, this is the way that you can pretty much turn anything into a microcontroller or a computer. You can see those alligator clips there. We've got a cute little piano up there, and then they are literally saying that the bananas are each of the keys. So when you touch the banana, it plays the piano, and that's all adaptable. Students can update this. They can take their creative project-based planning, their ideations, and they can go in and they can say, this is the type of instrument that I'm going to make now. Probably one of the most popular ways that I see the Makey Makey being used is to create your own games. And we know students love gaming. They love going to arcades. There's vintage arcades are coming back. Those are really fun to go to. And these can be a great way, again, for students to just express their creativity, their passions, and really connect with them on the level that they are at, and by giving them the opportunity to create their own games. So they're using things like Scratch, MakeCode Arcade, and then they can design unique games using everyday materials, cardboard, things that you can find around your house, and then they can share that game with others. And that's the big thing, is we want students to be able to share. That's when they get that affirmation, right? So again, your literacy tie-in here. If you do not know science comics, history comics, these are my favorite graphic novel nonfiction. They're great stories that introduce students to, again, history and science topics. Highly interactive. They look great either in your nonfiction section or in a graphic novel section as well. So summertime, you can't think about summer without thinking about the pool or cooling off. So we've got a lot of summertime projects with Cricut. A lot of you are familiar with Cricut. So being able to customize your shirts, being able to customize anything with vinyl and creations. And so what's summer without a pool party here? We've got pool party invitations that you can create. There's a template there for your insert card. I was also thinking this is the time when students, choose to do a little bit of entrepreneurship in the summer, right? You've got lemonade stands. You've got my kids on the corner here selling bracelets during the summer. So this is a great time to tie in those entrepreneurship and those career pathways and give students the ability to design, create, and possibly sell their creations. Super cute bookmarks that you can make with a Cricut as well. You can cut out characters. You can have students design their own characters and then upload them. We can give these characters a background, a story, a name. We can host that literacy themed pool party. There's just so much that we can do. We can hand these out at family events, at literacy events. If you're in a public library or a public community event, this would be a great way also to show off what you're doing with your students. It's a little bit of giveaway here as well. And one of my favorite examples of the Cricut, I went to a book birthday party, which are really fun, by the way, guys, where students just get to celebrate new books coming into their classroom or to their library. And it was a book theme party. They brought in cupcakes and they decorated them like this, all made from the Cricut. They took cute little book covers and they topped them on the cupcakes. So again, if you're looking for just that entrepreneur or that party or just that celebration where you can tie in a little bit of creativity or design into it, then Cricut's a great way to express that. And yes, I love the entrepreneurship connection as well. Too many great kidpreneur books, as they're called, out there right now. I did find a really great article that I've linked here in the chat. It has a collection of fiction and nonfiction books that I think are all great to introduce students to things like advertising, how to balance a checkbook, even just those very, very simple business startup, how to design a logo, things like that. Also linked in here is a nice little project for a family business project over the summer. So if you have that family or that community engagement piece that you're looking for, you can find that in these slides as well. So if you are sitting around with some dashes in your library, these are very popular for students to begin their coding journeys with. They have incredible summer resources out right now. Lesson plans, reproducibles, graphic organizers, and I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. They've got packets. These can be used for summer camps, or they can be used for events like those family literacy nights as well. So I just wanted to show you a couple of what they actually have out. And why I like this and why I chose this as a resource for here too is that they already have that literacy tie-in. So if you look down here, they have that summer reading tie-in ready to go for you, like I'm showing you here, but broken down for each of their activities. So for each of their lesson plans, they're going to have a literacy connection there as well. And we all know the most magnificent thing is a great title to tie to STEM in a lot of different areas and places. And again, these are all linked here. So if you already have a dash or if you're looking to get a dash, then you would be able to come back to this presentation, get these links here, and start with your summer STEM lessons. So I just wanted to show you and recap that Maker trifecta. You can see that print, that digital, and that Maker resource. And I wanted to show you what this looks like in a real life situation with a real district. So we worked with Lamar Consolidated in the Houston area to create a summer drive-through family literacy event. And what they wanted was that multimodal activities. They wanted a ebook, they wanted a hands-on STEM resource, and they wanted some STEM challenges to go along with that. And all of this was being done in a drive-through. So, pop-up location, parents are driving through with their kids, and we're handing out things to them as they go. And so what that looked like here is this Maker trifecta, right? We have Explore and Engage. We had them log into their Capstone STEM ebook platform. We had them then get hands-on with their STEM tool. And then that extension was that we partnered with the district to have them learn their virtual badges through Beanstack. We could also be having them create a book creator so that we could, have a community book collection as well. So let me show you what this ended up looking like. So this is their online STEM collection for ebooks that they have access to real simply with a QR code. This is the 3 Ducks Go Pack that we did, and we tied it to the global sustainability goals as well. And then this is the drive-through event. where we sat outside and we waited for families to come up and we explained kind of the process. The parents were super excited because they actually physically got to take home a physical resource. Yeah, STEM on the road. I love that too, because they got to take home a free resource. They had access to a digital collection with books that had STEM activities and extensions in them. And then they also got to take home some physical books as well. So again, just really tied up nicely to that event. It was a lot of fun, and you can see where that kind of maker trifecta is working its way in, where we're giving the students a lot of different modalities and resources to work with. So I'm really big on giving students a voice and a choice. This is how we get investment in our classrooms and into our libraries. This is how we get investment into learning, is we have to give students a voice. And more importantly, I think we have to give them a choice. And we have to give them a choice in their learning and a choice in the topic. We all know self-selection in reading is very, very important. We have to give students the ability to look at a variety of books and then choose the one that they want to read. So I just wanted to show you and share a little bit about passion projects. If you haven't heard about passion projects, they're very popular right now in the secondary school. If you notice anything that is similar about all four of these pictures, they're all from TikTok. So this is where your students are talking about what they want to learn. And I think that's just a really great connection, that students are using social media, something that we often wonder, is it harmful? Is it good? Is it doing anything? And they're talking to each other about what they want to learn. So how can we take this communication amongst these students, and how can we say, I see what you want to learn, and turn that into, something that they're going to be passionate about. Again, something that can help our community, something that can be long lasting. So again, we can do that through STEM, and we can give them that great literacy foundation. I wanted to give you a couple of other examples of how these passion projects kind of tie in with that maker trifecta, and how you can incorporate that literacy component as well. So if we're looking at something like procedural writing, or coming up with our own book creator content, if we're looking at, specific books and why, deconstructing the background and things like that. This example is with Lord of the Flies. We know that Ralph needed to build a shelter. We need to do research on the types of shelters that can be built out of everyday materials or out of wilderness materials and nature. And then we are going to design a shelter that best fits the three needs of this character, or Ralph, in the wilderness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curate all of my wilderness survival books. Again, I'm looking for fiction, I'm looking for nonfiction, I'm looking for online resources that can give students just, again, that background and that depth of knowledge that many students might not know. Some of our students might not have ever been into the woods or into a forest before. So we really have to give them that background knowledge, and then that fiction, again, for that creativity piece. So we've already read our books. We're going to use Book Creator as our ed tech component. We're going to have students create their own wilderness survival book. We're going to have them put tips and tricks and voice recordings in there, and bring in all of those components that we love about Book Creator. And then we can bring in our STEM component, and we can use something like Make Do that uses cardboard to use construction, or we can do Strawbees. We're going to have students reflect back to that constructive writing piece, look at how they designed, and then start building their prototypes from here. So you can see how that kind of fits in there. And last but not least, I wanted to wrap up with our STEM planning and reflection journal. I'm going to open this here and see, yep, we still got it here. So this is just so that your students have a place that they can refer to, they can kind of pop back to. They can have a place to record their books and their STEM materials that they were using. And when we're looking at the design thinking process, when we're looking at project-based learning, when we are looking at, solving a problem, we all know that the first thing is that we need to define that problem. So this takes you through that design thinking process in a reflection journal format. Let's define the problem. I added here a piece and a component that I don't see in a lot of those cycles. And I'm asking the students, and we're asking the students, what does success look like to you? right? What does this end prototype, what need is that going to solve? We've defined the problem. After we do our prototyping, after we run our trials, what does success look like to you? Because we want them, again, to have that voice and that choice in their learning. Here, we're going to ideate our possible solution. We can prototype our sketches. We're going to make a blueprint, and then we're going to arrange all of our materials that we need here. Here's where our prototyping and our testing comes in. We can list all of our details, what improvements and adjustments that we need to make moving forward. And then list any STEM skills that they learned or used. We could drop any standards in here that we needed to, or maybe some encouraging words for the students, or some ideas on what kind of types of skills or content areas that they mastered. And then their reflection piece and their STEM reading log, where they can log the book that they read, and then that STEM extension activity that they did. So this is all, again, linked in there. In the slides, you've got the book creator reflection journal from Maker Maven, and then you also have the slides in there as well. We'll go back here. Right. So just again, a quick reminder, we want to start small, use what you have already. I always suggest origami as a great way to start. Most schools have origami books, or you can find a really quick lesson online on folding origami. This is a great example too, on why to have that multimodal interaction. Origami is very hard to read in 2D. You have those little dotted lines, and a video really helps enhance that learning and gives that, again, that visual to the students. So you've got your book, you can source some paper, and then you have a nice ed tech tool or a video to compare with that. Next, we're choosing a story and layering on STEM, or like I said, if you already have the tools, then look at what it does, think about that success that you want your students to have, and then go find a fiction or a nonfiction, or even better, both, to pair with that. And then always, again, encourage reflection with your students through writing, speaking, and presenting. That is where they are going to share their voice with you. And again, I just believe that's the most important part of learning, is being able to share. And I'm so happy to have found Book Creator in the partnership, because I truly believe that it is one of the best tools out there for students to be able to share. And we want that with our students. So thank you so much, Katie, for having me today. I know we might have anything in the chat that we need to address. I would love to hear from y'all with our last, few minutes that we have. If you have done any of the Maker Trifecta, maybe, and you didn't know it. So tell us about the book and the STEM tool, and maybe the ed tech tool that you use, or let us know if you're using Book Creator with a STEM item. Katie, we have a little bit of time for that.
Yeah, we do. I'm actually going to put a link in the chat to a library. So if you want to go ahead and join that library, I thought I'd show you our summer resources and how you can contribute to that. But Jamie, this was really great information. I just want to thank you so much. I love the connections of not just literacy, but also the sustainable development goals and all the ways to get students thinking and doing those good, like, communication, collaboration skills. So
Absolutely.
it speaks to my STEM girl heart.
Yes. Well, and if you have time, share those summer resources from Book Creator, because they are amazing. I spent a little time digging through them the other day, and I'm sure you have hands in that.
I do. I have a few hands in that. So we have our new student resource hub for summer. I'll put it in the chat. So on this teacher page, you'll see that we have some reading journals. So if you use Epic or Sora, we have some reading journals to go with those platforms. We have art projects, and what I'm going to focus on showing you is our STEM notebooks. So we have 8 STEM challenges that are, I would say, for 3rd to 8th grade, they're most appropriate. And they're quick 2 to 4 day challenges, depending on how you want to do it, if you're doing a summer camp or summer school. But also, I think these are great, kind of like the STEM on the road that you shared, Jamie, to put these in an independent learning library for students this summer, and they can do these things with the things that mostly they have at home, craft supplies, office supplies that they might have at home, and do these with their family. Because I know parents are always looking for something to do with their kids when they're home for summer. So, so check out those challenges. And if you join the library that I put in the chat, you'll find this collaborative book. And for each of these challenges that we've already started out a little bookshelf of some aligned literacy. So for instance, like the Maze Challenge, Maze Runner would be perfect. So if you join the library and you think of any books you would add, go ahead and add them. We're going to fill this up over the next week and then share this out. So definitely making those STEM and literacy connections is really important to us. So we hope that those resources, all of the ones here, are just going to be helpful for you for independent summer learning, summer camps, summer school, or summer programs in general. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Let me see. Barbara says, I'm wondering if Book Creator would be a good option for a digital engineer's book. Actually, I've made one. So yes, totally have an engineering book. I will get it pulled up. Another things that I have made, and I'll share my screen about that, is I've made this whole series of STEM notebooks. Before I joined Book Creator, I was my district STEM specialist, and I made those then. But you'll notice, Barbara, this engineering one, so that's probably what you're looking for. And yeah, it goes through the whole engineering process of prototyping and then refining and optimizing and reflecting. So hopefully that will be useful for you.
Yes. The remix function is key there.
Yes, the remix for sure. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. Any last words you'd like to share during this time?
No, I really appreciate the time. If y'all would like to visit our website, again, we have a ton of free content on there as well. STEM challenges, articles to help you write grants. We'll be promoting and supporting the Summer STEM Challenge and resources from Book Creator as well. So be looking on our socials for a lot of information over the summer for STEM and literacy. Oh, we got a question.
Laura wants to know if you provided the supplies.
Yes, we did. So I will just I'll take you back here just real quick to that slide. And we did provide the materials. We provided everything to the parents when they drove through. So we gave them this card, the card that you saw. The QR code went to those ebooks here. And then physically, every student got this cute little backpack with the 3 ducks, which is going to be unique connectors that connect pre-cut cardboard, so you don't have to cut it out. Pre-cut cardboard, and these are the ones that we tied to those sustainable development goals as well. So yes, we included everything that the parents needed to just literally drive through, pick it up, and go home and start reading and making with their kids.
I love that. And I love that you had it in Spanish as well. That's so
yes, great. Yes. Yeah. And we're the same, Katie, like we can customize resources, upon request and things like that. So happy to help you get to those resources and get them translated.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today. We hope you have a good afternoon or evening wherever you are. And we'll see you next time. And have a good day and happy bookmaking, as we always say. Bye.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Katie.